bigger events or like smaller things like this before. So 80% of people. These are super informal, so like ask as many questions as you want, like get fully engaged, and the goal is just give you as much advice and kind of help, and also if there's things you want to kind of help each other with, like feel free to kind of speak up. The whole purpose of us doing this is trying to give you as much value as possible and help you move as quickly as you can with the business. I do these for completely free, these small ones, because I love giving back. My only two ask for you is like, one, if you could put something on social media today on your stories, would be amazing, tag me in 7-figure scaling systems. The second is if you could refer a friend, would also be amazing at some point from working with this and the success you've had. So without further ado, the first thing I want to look through is, if we look at how basic business is, if you guys scale your business online, a lot of people, when I see consistently, whether you're making 5K a month or 100K a month, massively overcomplicate everything. And the more I try and focus on growing our own businesses and other people's businesses, the easier it becomes to really just break things down into 3 things. And all you ever actually need to focus on every single day, in essence, is literally just traffic, sales, and then results. If you do that consistently, and these are all we're going to talk about really today, is probably the first 2, your business will grow. Like, that is essentially it. It's booking sales calls and closing sales calls and finding the most efficient way to do that, and then finding the bottleneck in the processes you have. And a lot of people sometimes think maybe they have a lead flow issue, but it's often actually maybe even a sales or a pricing issue, which is why they're not making the money they should be making. So tracking everything and having kind of an understanding that's important, but then also just focusing actually in terms of the process as well. Because if you don't have traffic, you can't get sales. So understanding that kind of basic flow is really, really important. So first thing I want to do is everyone to kind of introduce each other so people know who they are. If we start left to right, if that's okay, I'm going to pick up you. Say who you are, where you're from, business, who you guys want to go together.
Well, I can.
Talk to you.
Noelia,
Okay. Okay.
and I'm a psychologist. I'm not doing.
Okay. And what's the biggest thing you want help with, like for your business?
My business?
Yeah.
I think.
And say who you are. Traffic. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you're going to be specific with that, what do you mean by more traffic? Like content, ads, like?
Like my most biggest bottleneck right now, I think, is getting more sales calls.
Okay.
Because my conversion is quite good, so I think that's not the main problem right now, but like getting more calls. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And what was your name? Sorry.
I'm Dino.
Dino. Okay, Dino. So, and with the sales side of stuff, you've got this kind of master. So then traffic, Dino, is the problem, right? So we'll come back to that, and then keep going around.
Ben from Wales, coach here in the locker as well. Charlie now for just under a month. Probably say the thing I'm struggling with most at the moment is probably converting traffic into leads.
Okay. So like lead nurture kind of thing.
Yeah, lead nurture.
And is that specifically more in terms of like DM conversations?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe Taza, if you want to talk about that one afterwards, during this. Okay. Joanne?
Joanne from Australia. I started my online business about 2 months ago, and consistency is the issue. So getting a rhythm with the content and making it easy. Okay, so thinking.
Okay. That's quite an easy one to solve. Okay, cool. Elaith?
I'm a dentist, born and raised here in Syria. I think my main problem is filtering out qualified leads. So I think it's a DM problem, and more of about the data.
Cool. Adrian?
Adrian, I've been with Charlie for 2 years, and I think for me, just hiring and onboarding a new seller, like how to integrate that as smoothly as possible and get them off the road.
Okay. So what we'll do is, like, a lot of these are obviously going to cross over, so we'll kind of go through them in batches.
So my name is Ivan. I started my business 3 years ago. I've done this in my country in Italy. I just moved here to Dubai, so I don't have an audience because I switched language. So I'm building everything from scratch again in English. So traffic, and then after get leads, close them. Just build what I did before.
Okay.
Again, and now better.
So probably like content, I'd say. Me and Taza were talking about that beforehand. Darren?
Darren,
Mez?
I'm as research drives your shift revenues. Biggest bottlenecks are probably trying to improve ROI on ads and not too much sell.
Second one's a good one. That's the most challenging part of business. Okay. Okay, I hear that a lot. Holly?
I'm Holly. I've been doing my coaching business for 4 years. I think my biggest thing that I've always struggled with is training my VA or setter and not being with them enough. And I don't know whether it's the content that's not landing or we've been boost posting but getting really shit leads and then the content and then I'm qualified. So it's just kind of hitting the right people and having the right conversations to get them on the call. I think I'm the same. I'm going to get on a call. If it's the right person, I'll convert them quite easily, but it's just getting the right people.
Okay. Hannah?
I'm Hannah. I'm from the Alma originally. My niche is with homes. I stepped out of corporate about 2 months ago and saw some great news, so I'm able to absorb everything.
Okay, we'll start fresh. I would say probably today just try and absorb as much as you probably can overall and you just pick up loads of stuff. JP, is there anything you specifically want from today? Or any questions you want?
I just came to be around you.
Okay. Itaza, you got anything?
We've been trying for 2 years now, and I also know that it's this was fit bro. Maybe I'm going to take a look today about long-term content.
I love long form. Like we filmed fucking like 4 hours worth yesterday, so like. Okay. I'm actually just going to put like leverage with that because it's then kind of the same thing. And then Shane? Marina? Okay. Okay, I just. Okay, cool. Any stuff, sir?
Hi everyone, my name is Jolan, and mostly I'm doing in-person training, but I'm on the program for the last 6 months now, and I'm trying to make a move and actually scale up as an online coach. Mostly what I'm actually having issues with is like good quality of leads, actually qualified leads, you know what I mean? Because mostly I'm doing organic content, so that's the biggest struggle.
Okay. So suffice to say, probably the most common thing is very heavy lead gen, which obviously we're going to talk about. So if we flip to Dino, the best thing to always look for in your business is like what's working right now, and then how can we kind of like optimize that. So the best quality leads you have coming through, where are they coming from at the moment?
Best leads?
Yeah.
I only work in Spain.
Yeah.
So it's basically Spain.
I mean, like what strategy? So is it you messaging new followers, or like what does that look like?
We message new followers. Then I have the VA, and I've just started that started last week.
Okay.
So I don't count that yet because it's really fresh, and I'm here. So.
Okay. Before, was the other VA you have, were they doing any messaging?
I started, and then when I put her in, she started to do it, and I'm always on top of it, and I do it sometimes as well.
Okay, so the Spanish market is amazing because from an ads perspective, the lead cost is very cheap. With the messaging that's happening at the moment with the current VA, do you know how many messages they're sending?
Yeah, like around 80 a day.
Okay, and is that all the conversations?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing I would look at is.
I have to focus on the follow-ups.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so do you know how many followers you get a day?
Now less, like 50, 60.
Okay, so the most, and you can see by like 3 questions you can kind of find like the bottleneck. So the most important thing you need to focus on is just getting like the follow-ups, the numbers up, and using like kind of go high level as a system to do that, and then having the setter come in, and then.
I still don't have to go high level. That's why. That's one thing I want to change.
Okay, yeah. If you get that in place, because the most important thing is kind of like leverage. If you can get them come in and do 500 follow-up messages a day, you can just kind of turn over your inbox, and then you're laughing. And then the second thing I would do is the minimum I would say you kind of want to have come into account every day is like 100 new followers as a good starting point, because then when the setter comes through, they've got enough kind of swings at bat to try and convert people. When's the new setter starting?
So she started last Monday.
Okay.
But I would count like from next Monday.
Okay.
So I'll be with them.
Okay. Do you do any voice notes on your Instagram?
Voice notes, like to leads?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay. Taza, do you want to come up and explain the voice note thing? This is, yeah, you can come and do it.
Or especially when they do, so I jump in and I
Okay, so do you want to come out front? Yeah. So Taza's actually made the training for this, and it's really, really sick. And this is huge for everyone to make sure you're doing, because if you can improve the conversions at the first part of the conversation, like the first reply, it's going to increase dramatically. Do you want to give Taza my hand? So let's give it. There you go. Yeah, so if you, like with everything with your business, and we spoke earlier about like traffic sales, kind of client results, the higher you go up and you fix the problem, you improve something, the bigger the impact it's going to have in terms of your revenue at the back end. So do you want to explain the voice notes?
So if anyone's already seen it, there's actually put a training the other day on the WhatsApp group as well in terms of school. And what you can do now, so you know when you forward voice notes, normally previously you used to say it's forwarded, but now what you can do is actually record it to yourself. So I can show you over here in terms of what that looks like. But let's say you've got setters in your account, but you want to send voice notes to yourself. So what you'll do is create like a bullet bank, and I'll send you like the training here, but what that comes across is you can pretty much send it to yourself, so you can see that if you want to. But all it is these voice notes here are like follow-ups day 1, day 2, day 3. And what that looks like is basically you voice note yourself, you put the title in terms of what the voice note title is, so it's follow-up, new lead magnet, things like that. And then you can forward it to yourself, you can forward it to people that you want to speak to. So essentially what that means is basically like, let's say there's a new follow, you do day 1 message, day 2 message, day 3. Day 3 can be a voice note, like, hey, super sorry, completely realised I forgot to give my freebie. I was giving a new followers a freebie for following me. I've got these 2 guys, which one would you like? It could be like, let's say you offer a call and someone's not taking it, it's all typed messages. What you can then do is, hey, completely realised we didn't get the time to speak. I've actually got some time today and tomorrow, which one works best for you? It's like a this or that sort of thing. But the way you do it for everyone here is basically you send it to yourself and you pretty much have like a bullet bank of voice notes. So it could be follow-ups, new follow messages, lead magnet offers, call offered, call follow-ups. And then the setters will go into your messages, forward that to the prospect, and it doesn't say forwarded whatsoever. So you can create as many as you want to, which is perfect. So, yeah, so you can do it on your, I think you can do it on your laptop, but it comes across as if you've actually recorded it live in the moment. So,
how do they send it from Meta Business, for example?
So they would have to do it in the account.
I wouldn't be too sure, yeah. It'd be more than the account, to be fair.
You'd have to have them logged into the Instagram account. But like this is, so one of the bigger problems with like DM messaging is people think it's AI or like whatever kind of thing. Whereas it's like, dude, like if the first message someone gets and they think it's you, obviously it's originally you, but like they think it's you, the whole process will be so much better because of that. So like that's a huge point of leverage to get that nailed down for everyone from the beginning. Darren.
Would you leave it a few weeks from when a new followers you?
No, straight away.
Is there any like guide with the algorithm and stuff? Does Instagram?
If they follow you, it's fine. It's like if you just start spamming like every Tom, Dick, and Harry off the internet, if they follow you, you can engage them basically because they showed intent to you.
I think if anything, like a day 1 message, day 2 message, day 3, and then if they engage, we activate the conversation. So like after day 3, if they're not responding to 3 personally, we leave it because of the volume of new followers. And then what happens, let them see your content, let them see your story. If they engage in other parts of content, we re-engage again. But like after 3 messages, it could be a case of like, let's say they see your stories, you can do a quick voice memo, which is a forwarded, and that can carry the conversation again. But it's like a nice little human touch as well. So we've got one now where it's like, hey, super sorry, I realised we've not spoken for a while. My apologies, I'm actually going out for lunch in a second, probably going to grab steak and eggs. How are you doing today? How's your journey going so far? It's very casual. I've actually got some wind in the background too, so it looks a bit more human-like as opposed to some wind in the background.
Well, I'd like to do some else. I was like walking up the stairs, so it sounds like
out of breath.
Do you know what I mean? Rather than like you're in like a mic'd up room, like do you know what I mean? It's too perfect. We want it to be a little bit shitty to some degree.
I even say in the voice, I'm so sorry for the background noise, and they actually kind of like that human element too. So hey, I can hear you perfect. So if you can make it more human-like, it works really well too. But I'd say every follow-up you can do, you've got the text, but if you've already done 2 text messages as like a follow-up, do a voice note third, it works really, really well. So that's pretty decent.
Did you have a question on that as well, Holly?
Yeah, I was going to, because I haven't watched your training yet, but we've been doing this for a few months as the 3rd follow-up. So we'll do like a welcome message and then a follow-up, and then I'll do it. I'm sorry, I'm just running to the lift, but you probably think I'm a bot. And so many people have come back and been like, thank you so much, I really did think you were AI, blah, blah, blah. And it's been like crazy, the difference. But would you say then to do, sorry if this is in your training, to just go out as like a welcome message with that?
100%. Because if you can improve the conversion on the first message, that's huge.
Okay.
That's huge. So like, I would always make sure the first message is the voice note because it looks personal.
Yeah. because I think Fran did a photo in the lift as well,
Mm.
like to follow up, and because obviously you can't tell the time of day and stuff, she was like, it's me, and she was in the lift, as well as the
That's
voice note.
class.
I think that did really well
Mm.
as well.
That's
But,
smart.
Yeah.
And then you can do like a text, a voice memo text. But if you're doing voice, keep it under 15 seconds. I'd say just so it doesn't like become too much for someone to consume. So the shorter the better. I'd say more punchy.
How long on average should it take per message?
As in for the voice note, or what do you mean? Sorry.
So what I found was when I did that, it's hard to find the person you want to. You need to send.
Just have a pen and paper and write their names down. So if I was a DM setter, I would have laptop open with like new followers and then the phone and then just do both. And just okay, name did it, like name did it. Do you know what I mean?
I think if anything, like test as like a follow-up test as a new follow message. Like kind of like with scale where you wouldn't see spikes. You'll see spikes, highs and lows. But if you see the average days to reply rates higher, you can definitely go with it, to be fair. So give it like a 7-day period, see the response. You should do really well. In terms of how to set it up, so what you do is you send it to yourself, you put a title of what the follow-up is. So if it's a new follower, lead magnet, you send the voice note below so your VA knows. And your VA goes onto the actual, like it'll actually like my is ir.tarza. So go search ir.tarza, see the chat history, click forwards into the person. The thing is, I think you can actually do it now where if you forward it, it'll show you recent conversations. So that's also a nice way to do it. But like Charlie said, if you've got the names of the people, you can just type it up manually.
And then if you also pin the conversation, it stays at the top of your feed, so it's easy for the setters to get. But that will help massively from the conversion side of things. Coming back to Dino, that will help a lot in terms of like improving the initial response rate, and then
The first message, you would just switch it to a voice note.
yeah, switch to voice notes. Like, thank you so much for following me. What content are you looking for? Like, is it specifically fat loss, muscle building, or general inspiration? You like my kind of stuff? Like, kind of have a bit of a laugh with it, and then the goal is just to try and get them to respond off of that, and then get them into a conversation. But if you can always kind of like lead with like a giving hand, like you're trying to like send them a training or send them another piece of content, or like what is it you're kind of here for, does very well. So I would definitely do that. And also like in the Spanish market, no one will be doing that. So I think you'll kind of clean up with that. The second thing in terms of your account at the moment, are you running any ads on it?
Yeah, I always try to have like one running.
Okay. Do you know what the cost per follower is on it?
Yeah, normally it's like 0.4 euros.
Okay, and then do you know roughly how much money you make on the followers coming through, for example? So do you track that roughly?
No.
Okay. So the most important thing that I obsess over every day, and I cannot like implore to everyone enough, is that when you get someone sign up, look where they came from. Like where's the money come from? So you can kind of think, why is this important? Is pattern recognition is a key skill in business.
Like for example, the thing is I have 2 gyms.
Yeah.
And then I have a lot of clients like come in referral from there.
Yeah.
Because I'm online.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say.
But even then, even on the sales process, you can even ask them like, how did you hear about me? Was it from the gym, or did you just find me online?
Yeah.
Because because what you want to track is roughly the revenue that's coming from new followers specifically. And this is like boosted follower funnels. I was saying to someone yesterday, it's like Old Faithful. It just makes money and it works. It's kind of difficult to track to like military precision, but you can roughly check, okay, I made 10,000 euros from selling to new followers and we spent 1,000 euros. Chances are this is definitely very profitable. So like, let's spend 2,000 this month and see if it goes to like 15 to 17, if that makes sense. So I would track that like kind of like weekly, how much are you making from new followers coming into the account? Are you taking all the sales calls?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have that in a kind of conversation, but how did you hear about me? Was it from the gym? Was it from content?
Right.
Like, that for me is like one of the most valuable things. I listen to a lot of sales calls is like, I hear things of like, oh, I listened to this podcast or I saw this YouTube video. I'm like, yeah. And then also for you as the entrepreneur, you're like, all this time I spend making this stuff, people actually like listen to it and they like it, which is kind of gives you positive reinforcement. So then if you don't want to make the content, you actually keep doing it, if that makes sense. So I would do that and then probably take the spend up a bit. And then I would say for you, like an analogy I like, and I'd want everyone to kind of think about, is that your job is to basically be like the quarterback in your business, like driving traffic. And you have to be able to give your team enough swings at bat to be able to like book calls. So I'd say I would generally recommend for everyone, like kind of the metric I would look for is at least 100 new followers a day. So they have enough people that they can try and kind of pull through, if that makes sense. So if you spent like 50 euros a day, you'd probably do that on kind of boosted posts.
I'm way under.
Yeah, how much are you spending now?
10.
Yeah, bro, like, So what's your revenue, if you don't mind asking?
Like this month, at the moment, I think I'm gonna make like 8K.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, go to 40 euros a day and see what happens. Like, or just take it up and like, just not in one sweep, but maybe go 10 to 20, do that for a couple of days, then go 20 to 30, and then see if there's a dramatic increase in terms of like lead flows and call bookings.
For example, I have like a couple of ads that have done well in the past, but they paused. So maybe it's a good idea.
Yeah, just turn back.
Put them back. Okay.
And this is an important thing I say for everyone, whether it's actually an ad that is for like a boosted reel for followers, or if it's just a general ad. If the ad is to like a lead magnet and it's like click the link type of thing, or to a VSL, if the ad and the creative is really good, a lot of people will just follow you off of the ad, which then means the setters can then kind of engage with them. Or what happens is people actually might like the advert or comment on it, and then the setters can then go and message them as well, if that makes sense. So, which is then difficult to track, but you can often see a correlation that if you just take the spend up a little bit, you will always see an increase in conversions, particularly when you've got the new setter coming in. One piece of advice I'd give on setting teams, I think Adrian had mentioned there. I spoke with someone yesterday, and they've got really successful business doing like $70,000 a month. But the thing that's held them back is they're really nice people, but they're too nice to their setters who are underperforming. One of them's got like a massive personal problem. The two others are just kind of like lazy and unorganized. It's like they're trying to fix something that they cannot fix as a people problem. Like the processes are great, so if the people don't perform, it's then a people problem, and you just need to get new people. So I'd say, I don't know what your thought is on this, Satasa, but generally I'd say like, you know if someone is going to be good within the first few days. And I can give a great example of this. Shout out to Mateja, one of our team who watches this. We threw one of our guys under the bus yesterday to take a sales call just to see what happens, like an hour's notice. He's Serbian, and the like lady was from Serbia. So like, you take it. Guy like super chill, wasn't even bothered. He was like not flustered. Turns up in a shirt like super professional. I was like, for me, that's like attention to detail. And like you as the business owner seeing those small things is massive, because like this guy's coachable, this person wants to learn, and they really care and they want to do well. That's what you want to be looking for like every part of your business.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sorry?
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anything else on that?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Think of anything, just shout.
Can I ask a
Yeah, of course.
question on the
Shoot.
followers? So
Yeah.
we put more ad spend into like some boost posts.
Yeah.
The one that did really well was like a squat video.
Yeah.
I don't really do any like training videos, so we didn't convert. We got like 700 new followers, and we didn't get any conversations. We didn't convert anyone, so I just turned it off, and now we're stagnant.
Okay.
What do you do in that situation?
So the way paid advertising works is the most important thing is always going to be like the creative that comes at the start. So if the way Facebook works now in terms of ads is it will basically run what you say through AI. It analyzes the video in terms of like the visual where you are, or to try and match it to someone who's going to kind of engage with it. So that for me would be, okay, that creative is just pulling through completely the wrong type of person. Yeah. The second option of what you could do if you're like, I think the video is good, and is then layering interest targeting. So do you know what the target was on the reel?
What do you mean?
Was it just like UK women 30 to 40?
Yeah, I think we did actually, it was quite a while ago, but I think we actually did go to cities in the UK.
Okay.
And the age was probably too broad. I
Okay.
think it was like 30 to 50.
Okay. Was there anything else on that, other than that, do you think?
No, we took out interest a while ago, but maybe only.
Okay, so the general process of how you would want to run paid ads is, whether you're running boosted reels or you're running to like an opt-in page or a website, is you would always start, if you think the creative is good, you start broad. So, the age being broad isn't an issue as long as you work with that type of client. So it could be like 30 to 50-year-old women, UK and Ireland, for example. And then if that's bringing leads through, but it's not the right type of person, then that's when you need to like layer in interest targeting on that. So for fitness, the best interest targets are going to be things that are premium brands associated with fitness that only more affluent people are probably going to associate with. So things like Peloton, Lululemon, Whole Foods. I came up with this one the other day, I thought it was really smart. It's like Waitrose. Like, if you want to target, this is a really good content idea for anyone for an ad. What I would do, I would go to Waitrose here, and I would try and film stuff quickly that could be a sick reel or an ad, and then talk about Waitrose in the video, and then have that as interest targeting. Because Waitrose is like the rich woman's shop in the UK, right? So like, that's where a lot of them are shop. The other things I'd look at would be luxury vacations, anything that's kind of in that type of lineup to what you want to look at.
I just didn't know whether that was niching down too much, then but that makes so much more sense.
It could be the creative is too. Were they too young people?
Young students.
Yeah. So like, the other thing you want to have a look for, because you had an age demographic of 30 to 50 on there, that Facebook will have what's called Advantage Plus on there, and it will also have another tick box that says, we will push this to people outside of your audience to get more results or whatever, or to people who we think would like this. If that's ticked, they'll like completely disregard anything you selected and just send it to whoever they think will engage. So chances are maybe with that reel, that might be in one of those is ticked if it's getting, yeah.
So we got some good leads, but we got a lot of shit ones too. And I realised that the Advantage Plus was turned on. So do you recommend turning that off and just put your own target in?
I would start it broad and then go like kind of narrow, but don't. No. I test it on. If you're going to run things like a VSL or an opt-in funnel, like I run some stuff that's Advantage Plus, but you have so much. I have so much tracking that I can see like cost per lead, call, like all that stuff automatically. It doesn't really matter. But on the follower stuff, I wouldn't, because you can't track it to that level of detail, if that makes sense.
So do you think just if your creative is sort of targeted at your target audience, it's best just to let Meta do everything? Or do you think actually putting like interest in a good... what I did before, I did different interests in different ad sets, okay? And then I saw which one was working the best and just put money into that. And I got it from that, I got 163 per lead. 163 per lead.
Generally, I would always start like broad and then go like targeted. And then if that doesn't work, I would creative to that, then that.
Broad, and then I retargeted people who had been on the website.
Yeah.
What's 75% of the video?
Yeah.
And whatever sort of interest performed
Yeah.
best from the cold traffic, that was in then the retargeting ad.
What's the ad sending them to?
It was sending them to a landing page, which then also had a thank you page.
What was the landing page getting them to do? Try and book a call?
This was just a bit of free content.
I personally wouldn't bother running ads to a free page for something like that, because the whole goal of every sale is like every sale starts with a conversation. So if you're sending them to that to a free thing, if there's no way you can engage them in that conversation, you're kind of hoping they're going to try and book a call.
Yeah, this is what I learned next. I tried to then do like an email sequence, but my reply wasn't high on emails.
Email is.
So that's one thing I learned, which is not effective.
I have a disagreement with, say, someone like James Smith, who talks a lot about email marketing, because, I don't know, has anyone in here bought anything from an email recently? I couldn't tell you when I bought anything, because it's good for, like, and I'm not saying people shouldn't do emails, but you know the things we talked about earlier, like traffic, sales, and all this, like if you're making less than 20k a month, I wouldn't be worrying too much about that.
Fitness, I think I learned this from this technique from real estate, you know, which email I think would be a little bit more suitable.
It was a completely different market demographic, and also their ticket item of what they get is completely different. So there's crossover in some strategies from other industries, but I wouldn't say that.
No, that's one thing I've learned. So basically that matter.
Yeah, so with your ads, always just start broad and then go to targeted, and then if this then doesn't work, either maybe try different targeting, make sure all the Advantage Plus, switch audience, placements, all that type of stuff is correct. If that doesn't work, then I would look at probably the creative. And in the order of the creative, the most important thing is the hook of what you say at the beginning. If you're going to run an ad that's going to be a follower campaign, the most important thing within that in terms of what you say is that you have the call to action to follow, not at the very end, but it was in like the first 20 to 30 seconds, probably around like 15 to 20 seconds in, because most people won't make it to the end anyway. So that's almost, you want like kind of like hook, sub-hook, CTA, and then into the rest of the video, because that way most people are going to see that. And then make sure you have in the caption, follow at da-da-da-da, if that makes sense.
Does it matter, Charlie, if you do a boost post or you run the ad in the back end on Meta Business Suite?
It doesn't really make masses of difference. Personally, I just like to use Meta Business Suite. Or you can boost from, you can log on Instagram and do it off Google Chrome. There used to be a big discrepancy between boosting in app and then like Business Suite, but I don't think that's as much anymore. Whilst we're kind of going through ads and whilst we're kind of stay on this topic because we kind of pulled into it, is there anything, Ben, is there anything else in terms of lead nurture?
I think I've already kind of worked out from what you talked about there.
Yeah.
I think I'm not getting enough followers in. I haven't done any follower campaigns. I'd be lucky to get like
Right. Fuck all the other ads off politely and just literally just.
This is an ad. I did this a while ago.
Yeah.
I didn't do this on
Okay.
video.
Yeah. Okay. I would. The goal every day is how many conversations can you kind of start with people who are like the people who could actually buy something from you.
My set is like messaging like just random people.
Yeah.
Just like old like people I know.
Yeah, and that's the other thing with the other thing that I've made mistakes with in the past is just trying to like blast as much volume of traffic through and kind of like throw enough shit against the wall and hope something sticks. The problem then that it's difficult for your team to then kind of, like you kind of have this issue, sifting through all the leads that are kind of coming through because like 90% of them are completely the wrong avatar. And what I would say is the most important thing you actually want to look at is the quality of the leads to some degree. So a lot of people obsess on like, say like what's called CPM. So that's in French, cost per mille is like cost per 1,000 views. And essentially they want to try and get that as cheap as possible. The reality is you get what you pay for, right? So if you want to get people who don't make a lot of money, you want to send ads to them, it's going to cost a lot less. If you want to target people who are multimillionaires, it's going to cost more to advertise in front of them because they're more valuable to sell to. So like this is something, and lead costs you want to keep an eye on. But if, for example, Adrian, I said to you, you could get every follower who followed you was worth £10 million, but they cost you £50, £100 a follower, you'd probably take that. Yeah.
Yeah, so, because I've noticed with some of the campaigns, like cost per follower was like over €2, but conversion was higher because it was more of a specific ad, whereas one that was more broad, the cost per follower was like 60 cents, but there was a lot of garbage just coming in.
And that's why like, a lot of it is, this is a really unhelpful statement, but is it like, it depends. And that's where you also have to like look at the whole picture of everything of like, okay, the leads are cheap, what are the leads like? Are they good or terrible? Like in our fitness.
Cost per follower, sometimes it doesn't always paint the full picture.
No, so then it's like, but if you're taking the sales calls, you know these people are dog shit, and like the easiest way in some respects to increase your closing rate is actually cancel loads of calls. Because like if people like, it saves your team a lot of time, and when you start to have a lot of calls, you can then actually focus on the people you want to kind of speak to.
Your conviction too, it's like
Yeah.
your energy is just the right prospect to them community.
And I would say for everyone here, don't be afraid to cancel calls if you don't think they're a good fit. Like if people don't confirm, we'd cancel them because like, dude, if they were serious, they would confirm. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of huge. If we stay on ads, because we're kind of bouncing around like that, Mez, you heard ads ROI question.
We improved it a lot in the last since I saw you.
Yeah. What was the change with that?
Just trading close to
Okay.
like massive.
You know, I said about the whole thing. It's not sometimes just this thing. It's sometimes the back end sales thing. Yeah.
So Rachel's spending at least half hour, 45 minutes every day with closes, and the close rate on one of them went from 20% to 70%.
Yeah.
And it's made that. And you know, we were talking about the cash collected.
Yeah.
That's gone up as well.
Sick.
Average cash collected. So we should hit the PB by
Sick, that's great, man.
Just because of that change. But also, obviously, I don't want to stop there, so I want to refine as we further lead quality, a lot better, change the way we have, especially to increase the volume.
Okay.
Without the ROI.
So you want to increase the volume without the ROI dropping. So basically you had the leads, but the sales team weren't closing them properly, or it wasn't as good as it should be.
First, we had a shitload of volume, quality was shit. So we changed the creative in the ads.
Yeah.
So pushing those out more. The cost of the ads went up, obviously the quality of people getting better, but the closes weren't closing properly. So now that's sorted. I want to scale the ads up without ROI.
Yeah, so that's a gradual process in terms of kind of like nudging things along. And I'd say the most important thing I cannot and I've made this mistake so many times, is like, I kind of dance around a business of like, I'll go and get like the sales team's now working really well, and I kind of like fuck off, and then like completely abandon shit and let like someone else managing the whole thing do it, and I just don't pay any attention. And then I remember this happened maybe like, we do 2,000 maybe outbound dials a day, and I got the whole dialing team working, everything was perfect, and then same thing, our like ads stopped performing. But it wasn't the ads, it was the dialing team. So I listened to some dials, and I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, this literally wasn't what I showed you to do. So I think that has to kind of be kept in place, and if you keep the standards high, if the sales team is good, then all the ads will kind of convert. And when people start to get good, they start to get better and better and better, because they get more confidence in the way they kind of sell. With the ad scaling, do you know what your spend is per day on that, or like per ad set?
Between 300 and 400, depending on time. Because we scale it down in the middle of the month.
Yeah.
I'd say average 400 a day.
Okay, and then how much is that like per individual campaign or ad set?
It varies depending on the campaign. I'd say anything between 60 and 100.
Okay, so the sweet spot I see all the time, and I couldn't tell you the definitive reason why, is about £200 or dollars a day. It's like when you take an ad set to roughly that amount, I see a big change in terms of where it starts to struggle a little bit more. You can obviously scale a lot more than that, but your target is quite niche as well. So I would say I'd be pretty comfortable if you just keep like kind of nudging up like week on week. And what I'd look at is just, is the return on ad spend kind of roughly the same, and just slowly incrementally bring it up. And then if you see the one thing you want to watch out for is if the cost per lead suddenly starts to shoot up, or the second thing is the frequency score. And if the frequency score is like, that's how frequently someone sees about taking an action, you then need to change the creative. So when you start to spend more, you then have to kind of change the creative more often.
Instead of nudging those up, do you think it might just be worth having like 10 different types of retargeting ads and getting the same people over and over?
So in retargeting campaigns, you almost don't want too many pieces of content to some degree, but I would almost cycle through them. So if you had like a bank of loads, you can kind of just switch them on and switch them off, and just try different angles. And then the second thing I would do, this works really well, it's a massive hack. So it's if you take your highest performing ad and you just duplicate it, run the copy in the headline and the description, like the text where it says underneath the ad, through AI, and try and improve it, and just duplicate and create a second variation, and then see if that starts to outperform the original. Because sometimes just changing the text and like the headline, the text next to the button, can actually make a massive difference. So like whenever you launch an ad, particularly if the creative is really good and like you spent a lot of time in the videos like you guys do, I would make sure that you always test at least two different variations of headline and copy, and then you just want to see which one does Facebook want to spend behind, let it run for a week, and then just run with that one. Does that help? Yeah. That's sick on the sales thing though, because that like literally is exactly. But like, that's not an ads problem, that's a sales problem. But the ads look like they're not performing because sales isn't performing, if that makes sense.
Will there be different ad sets then? The different titles, say? Or will it be just different?
No, so if you're going to change the text in them.
Yeah.
No, you put them all in the same ad set, so it'd be like, because the targeting would be the same, if that makes sense. You would just want to change the headline and the text and description. Yeah, turn that off. It's shit. It's shit. So like when you go into AI, like when you go into Ads Manager, and we can talk about AI as well, turn all of that off. Like when you upload the video, I think there's like 4 settings in. It's like enhancements or something. Turn all that crap off. So it's like, it just causes chaos. Shane, you on ads? On LinkedIn ads or LinkedIn? Sorry? Okay, we can talk about that. Are you running ads on LinkedIn already? Is your ad account back on Meta now? Okay. I would start just doing like a boosted follower kind of funnel as kind of like the basic thing. LinkedIn ads, and I actually spoke to someone about this yesterday as well, is that LinkedIn is like a secret weapon most people don't understand because 98% of people on the platform don't post content. Because I could be like the managing director of, I don't know, like Abu Dhabi hospitality or whatever, but I can't post stuff because it's against our company guidelines or whatever. So most people can't post or won't post anything. So there's a massive discrepancy in terms between creators and kind of consumers. And it also has loads and loads of organic reach. So if we talk about LinkedIn in terms of like from a content perspective, I would focus on making stuff that is like specific to your avatar of like pain points and fitness problems and like some high level like health stuff you do. Like, you know, a great example for you. I know I messaged you on this, the dehumidifier thing, right? Like if you put a post of like you in a dehumidifier on LinkedIn and like, I don't know, like someone like Hook's like, this is the one thing every entrepreneur in Dubai needs, and had like a text kind of explaining that, that's the type of thing that would probably actually do quite well. It's kind of weird things like that all do well. And then second is you can find things that kind of topical. So the sad thing happened with Charlie Kirk, or and if you do things like, I did a post that nearly got 1 million impressions on WH Smith's rebranding. Like that's not fitness related, but it's related to people who are in business, which is what LinkedIn is. Those people then engage with your content and then they come to you. And they also see you as a high level person because you're not just like two-dimensional, if that makes sense.
Do you find that I've seen a lot of your content.
Yeah.
You're only posting images.
Videos are terrible on LinkedIn. The only things we put on, I put on LinkedIn is for videos are clips of podcasts where we're now trying to push people from LinkedIn to podcasts and to YouTube. So this is why LinkedIn is the easiest platform to make content for. Like I do all of that on my own, if not that it's a big job. Yeah, just me just kind of fucking around wherever I feel like. But like the fuck around and feel right method is really easy to do because this is happening in the world right now. I'm gonna do this. Like grab a photo from my phone or whatever and just kind of throw it in there. And then I use AI to help with a lot of the captions. The thing I really pay attention to is the first 2 lines. Because with LinkedIn, the way it will show the caption, it doesn't show the whole thing. So if you can create the curiosity gap in the first 2 lines where it's like, someone has to click read more and they want to see the rest, it crushes. So like, I've had a couple of things which didn't have images that were getting 100,000 impressions. We're literally just maybe like what 100K in the UK gets you versus 100K in Dubai or something, and talking about tax. Because if you can do things that kind of polarizing, you get loads of people jumping in and get engaging and get people arguing in the comments, and then it's just pulling in loads of people kind of into your world. So I wouldn't kind of overthink it with LinkedIn. I would just kind of push that out. The only thing that doesn't work is before and after photos. Secondly would be anything with like skin. So if it's like you with like topless photos or it crushes the reach. And then we can kind of talk about long form content later on, but we had a video that had, we did like a 2-hour course type video. I put that onto LinkedIn as well. I think from external link taps, 14% of people came from LinkedIn, which I was really surprised about. But the people on LinkedIn are very high value in terms of users. So one thing I'd think about as well with content is depth, not width. So like, what do I mean by that? Is you got loads of followers, but they were worth jack shit. It's like you could get 10 people from LinkedIn who find you, who could pay you $50,000. So that's kind of like the angle I would go down. But I think for you, that's a perfect platform. And also your knowledge and experience.
That's why I was trying to turn to it because I don't use many people for the price point that I do that. So where to LinkedIn and what is ESG?
Are you using Marina's profile as well?
No, we just started with Marina's.
Okay. I would do exactly the same thing. Exactly. I would do exactly the same thing. If you can create, we'll talk about AI, we'll just explain it in AI, but what I would do as well, and I'll send you some stuff afterwards on this, is I would create project files in ChatGPT. The project files I recommend everyone has is content ideation. We have one that's called Chief Facebook Ad Strategist. I have one which is like sales team analyst, a finance one, and then like a 7FSS. I have like a founder one for like me making decisions with stuff. From the content one, if you can create a chat in that project file, which is just LinkedIn captions, and you just keep it flowing, it keeps getting better and better and better. So I would do the same thing if you have a content file in, content project in ChatGPT, have specific chats for specific things, and it keeps it kind of in the right format that you kind of want, if that makes sense. Yeah. So if you go in a project and create, say, content, and then like ask it to make me a LinkedIn caption on XYZ, that would then be your chat. You just keep making LinkedIn captions on it, and it'll keep improving. One thing like I'll do is I'll just voice note. So I did one the day I had an idea, and I just came out of the gym and just voice note. And I was like, make me a caption. I want to talk about this. This is how I feel. Da, 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 and then it just writes it all for me.
You don't use an at the very start where you use the link.
No. So I think LinkedIn's really hot on AI automations, and it downgrades a lot of your reach, so like just doesn't get you what you want. And even if it does give you reach, it's from like other people who are kind of like marketers, or like it's fucking pointless. So like the managing director of email is not going to be using Link Boost, right? Like you're just not going to get the right people kind of coming through. Does anyone have any other questions on LinkedIn? On LinkedIn? I personally wouldn't recommend ads on LinkedIn. The reason for that is we've run ads on LinkedIn before, and the best way to do it is doing a dialing system. The problem is the cost of a lead on LinkedIn is 10x that of Facebook. So if I'm going to get a lead come through on LinkedIn, and let's say I'm targeting men in Texas who want to get in shape. It's going to cost me at least $80 probably a lead, maybe down to 50 sometimes. It can fluctuate a lot. That's just their number. Like I don't know if they're going to pick up. Whereas on Facebook it's £5 maybe, $5. So like the likelihood of you doing that, and you don't have to put so much into testing that you're like the game of business is not to lose money. For me, it's like that's way less risky in terms of getting that to work. And then the dialing strategy on LinkedIn, it can be done and it can work. But for me, I'm like, Meta is like the biggest ads platform in the world. It has the biggest audience, has the best targeting. It's way easier to get to people, and no one can say to me that the people who are on LinkedIn aren't on Facebook or Instagram. Like they are in that. Well, maybe some of them aren't, but probably the people who aren't probably aren't the people who are going to come to you as clients anyway.
LinkedIn are leaving a lot of money on the table then,
Yeah, it's an interesting, but it's mainly a recruitment platform originally. So I think eventually it will end up coming like that to some degree. I personally actually genuinely really like LinkedIn as an actual content platform. For me, it's like Instagram and Facebook 6-7 years ago. That's why I like posting on it, because I even see stuff on there I like other people's content, whereas I go on Instagram, I'm like, this is a cesspit. So I like it. I think it's a good platform.
I think the big difference now is years ago on Instagram, you were just posting an image and a caption. Now they went to the carousels, they went to the reels, videos, and on LinkedIn it just says it's a photo and a caption.
Yeah, because I like again, like width, not depth. I like depth. If I see a thing that's really interesting, I'll read it, and I'll go through the whole thing and like, oh, that's really insightful. Yeah, you read which one? Charlie. Yeah, yes. This is what I mean. So like that for me is like I look for stuff that's like engaging, educational. I don't want to see like fucking dopamine hitting reels. Do you know what I mean?
Any sort of ways to grow your network faster on LinkedIn?
Creating content that gets a lot of impressions and reach. So one of the things I've started to look at is if you go onto your post on LinkedIn and you click on like the impressions bit, it will show you how many follows you got from that post, which is really interesting. And some of the ones that got me the most followers were actually ones that didn't have images. There were, I think, 2 of them were very polarizing. We were talking about like UK versus Dubai and tax and stuff like that. So then people are kind of chiming in, but loads of people would start following me off the back of that. So like that could be a good instance for, you could talk about the difference of living here versus the UK from a tax perspective as a trainer, and loads of people start chiming in. Like it does very, very well.
I think we've touched on this before.
Yeah.
Like my LinkedIn, so I'm from a corporate background as well, so I've got like over 1,000 connections on LinkedIn, and I've spent so much more time like scripting on board now for Instagram and doing my reels in like days of time, but I'm not doing anything on LinkedIn. LinkedIn. So should I, like, what percentage of my time?
It will take you 5 minutes a day to post on LinkedIn.
Yeah, okay, so daily.
Yeah, like every, like.
That's where they are.
Sometimes I do 2-3 times a day because I just get an idea and I just want to post it. I don't fucking get like. I posted again this morning because I saw something that kind of pissed me off about someone was cheering at Charlie Clark got assassinated in front of him. So I was like, so I will just say things that I just feel like saying, and I wouldn't overthink it on that platform. But it's just a lot of it's kind of testing, and you'll find kind of what works. But if you also create a project file and use AI for it as well, it's really easy to then get like good captions kind of put together. The most important thing that I would use for AI, and me and Mike have a hatred for this, is that don't have hyphens and don't say the word fluff. Like there's certain like things that is like, this is terrible and I can tell this is not good. And then the second thing I would also do is you want to create a document. There's training school on this, which is like your life stories. So literally like write as many things from your background, like childhood, all that type of stuff in there. And I will ask AI to like create me like the thing I thought about Charlie Clark also talks about having a daughter in a few weeks, so then it's like specific and relevant to me rather than making a general thing, right? So you want to like, every post has to have something to kind of blend some of you into it as well.
I started again with my link. I used a professional one. I'm still in the process of
Yeah.
that old one deleted, so people flipped it.
I wouldn't delete it, I'd keep it. Can you keep it because you've got the original connections?
I started again,
Okay.
started a fresh
Okay.
one, like just redid it all, and I found that is quite good actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've got loads of like pictures from in corporate, like outside Downing Street.
But that's good, so it's valuable. So if you post those on LinkedIn, they will crush. They will crush. Here's 10 things I learned in corporate, you outside of Westminster or whatever. Like, if you put a great hook on that, like, the 5 biggest mistake ladies in corporate don't understand.
Yeah, because especially now we're doing blood work, that's like new now for us. Like, I feel like that is just all just moving me towards that.
Yeah, and that's, if you solve high-level problems, you can charge high-level prices, right? So like, those type of women are going to be very data-driven, and they're going to be like, oh, this isn't just like I'm kind of guessing. Like, they're actually looking deeper with that. 100%. I'd say for everyone here, it literally takes like 5-10 minutes a day, like 5 minutes a day maximum. But you have photos in your phone, so like, and then more actually a lot of the stuff that's more personal tends to do quite well as well. It's like you and your partner, all that type of stuff. So I do a minimum of 1. I probably have done 2 a day at least, probably the last week. Because I just kind of like, I get ideas and I just want to post them and see. But a lot of the reasons why I'm posting quite a lot is I'm kind of testing. I know certain narratives that will work. So if I do something that's Slate in the UK and talking about tax versus Dubai, it will take off and loads of people engage. If I do a photo with me and my partner and talk about like having a kid and being a dad and all that type of stuff, like that will do well. Because people will engage and say congratulations or whatever. So like, I know there's certain kind of frameworks of things that work. One thing actually is a massive important thing for the images you put on LinkedIn is you want to make sure they're a square crop. If you do it, it's the 6:9 kind of iPhone one, or I did one the other day. We had someone who got 54x ROAS on their ads, and I put that on LinkedIn, and it was like a weird size because I kind of screenshotted it from Slack. Did terrible because it wasn't the right formatting for what LinkedIn wants. So always also make sure the images are square cropped. And then last one, if you're going to do carousel posts on LinkedIn, you want to make sure they're PDFs, so then people slide through them. So if you use like a carousel, you want to create each image as like put it into like a PDF and it scrolls through. I have no idea why they've done that, but it's kind of annoying. It'd be an idea if you could just make it a carousel, but yeah. Any other questions like LinkedIn? No, literally just images. I don't put anything. Literally, I go on my phone, I'll find something that looks like it could be engaging, and caption, and off you go. Yeah, just crop it to a square. And in LinkedIn, you can crop it. It has like a edit thing of square, whatever it is. It does it for you. Way, way better. That's what I'm saying. It's like literally 30-second voice note into like AI, copy, like, is caption good? Yeah, that looks great. Okay. Copy, paste, like find a photo. Yeah, that looks good. Post, like, I'm out.
Charlie, sorry, one more question on LinkedIn. Would you then get your setter in your messages the same as you would on
So, great question. So, what I would look at for LinkedIn is being effective rather than being busy. Yeah. So what I would look at is low-hanging fruit rather than, I don't really recommend people, particularly if you've got other things that are probably more high priority. No, this isn't high priority. is if we look at like the 80-20 principle, like Pareto's law, the 20% of actions on LinkedIn that are going to get you the 80% of the results are people who send you connection requests and people who visit your profile. So I would just go after anyone who, and like the whole goal of like everything, you spoke earlier about traffic, right? So like LinkedIn is a funnel. Anyone who's getting driven in here, and you can, on LinkedIn, why I like it, is you can see anyone who's clicked on your profile. So if you see that, I don't know, managing director of a law firm or recruitment company in London's clicked on your profile, you can then message them, because they're obviously interested in something.
Yeah.
So you've already got kind of like warm leads, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and just take that on myself for now.
I would, yeah. Because also you're getting feedbacks, you know.
Yeah.
So like that's why I'm posting on LinkedIn, because I know specifically what's working, and like I will just keep doing it. And it's also really easy, and it's not like I'm spending I'm not spending 2 hours editing a reel for it. I literally written text, images, they're in my phone anyway.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Anything else on that? Shoot.
Do your task I mentioned, the voice notes. One thing I noticed on LinkedIn, people are shocked when you do voice notes. Do you do the same?
We haven't actually. We have done something similar on Instagram with, we were using 11 Labs. I could do the same thing on that for LinkedIn, but we haven't bothered, to be honest with you. The thing with LinkedIn, a lot of people tend to write like quite long messages, and then the messaging cadence is quite long because people aren't on there all the time. So it's almost a bit like email where people are kind of back and forth. Yeah, you could send a voice note, but I would try it. It depends what the initial response rate is. Shoot.
Sorry, this isn't really to do with
That's right.
I wonder if you could go over like managing your setters.
Yeah, okay, we'll jump to that. Mez is a great example of he came to my house a couple of weeks ago and we spoke about like just obsess how much time you're spending on the sales team and training them. You spend time training them and Rach doing it. They improve dramatically. So it's like where you put your time and focus, that will improve. That being said, you want to make sure that people are actually coachable. So if, for example, let's say from a sales instance, it's kind of easy to explain. Let's say, for example, I said to you, on your calls tomorrow, make sure you ask the person's partner's name and their kids' names. If you don't do that, then therefore you're not coachable, because I'm wasting my time trying to teach you when you don't want to learn and you won't listen. Whereas if you're like the Matasia guy I mentioned earlier, guy puts his shirt on, he'll like do whatever we say and like follows everything, that's perfect. He's like 10 out of 10 coachable, so he's going to be a rock star. So like that's kind of the first thing I'd look at is the person kind of coachable with the second team? And then second is, that's like the engine room of your business, because without the leading indicator of your business is sales calls booked. So I always look, okay, like what does our sales calendar look like this week, next week? Because I know if we're kind of packed out of calls, I'm like, okay, cool, like there's no stress. So I would make sure you speak with them every single day. Like I have a 30-minute meeting with our setters and lead gen team every day. We have a manager who manages it, but I also go on there because I will see things and say things that they might not see.
What do you do in that call, Jerry?
So what we do, that's a great question. So what we do on that call is we will review all the sales calendars for the week coming. We will review the calls that happened yesterday with the sales team and the setters. And then we will also, at the beginning of the call, we go through client wins. So like who's crushing, what's done well. Because what's this doing is creating positive reinforcement that what we are selling is really good in changing people's lives. And also it gives people stories to tell. Because people, if you can story tell in marketing and sales, it's the legit truth, and you can also show evidence of that, that reduces skepticism a lot. The second thing I do in those meetings, and I kind of fuck around a bit sometimes as well, and we kind of like have some fun with it. I'll give you a good example. So we've got one of our dialers, Arwin, she's from South Africa, and I ramped up our ads a load at the start of the week, and I was like, how many calls do you reckon you can book this week? And she was like 15. It's like, okay. I was like, if you can do 20, I'll give you $250. And I was like, oh, what do you want to spend $250 on? And she's like, a new iPhone. I was like, okay, cool. If you can do 40 calls, I'll buy you the iPhone. So like, we're kind of having like an ongoing joke of like how many calls Arwen has this week until she gets the iPhone. I think she might be at like 18 or 20, so I don't know if she's going to do it. But that's the kind of thing of like having culture, just random incentives. Sometimes we kind of have a bit of a laugh because you want to kind of make it a fun environment as well, because if it's a fun environment, people actually enjoy coming to work rather than...
So they're not necessarily like reporting on how many listings
So we do that as well, but we do that in like an end of day report. So at the end of every day, they fill in a form that fires into our Slack and like a Google sheet and a dashboard. So we see how many messages get sent, calls booked, follow-up messages, dials, how many clients got signed up from that person. And then at the end of the day, end of day report gets put in the team by the team leader of like kind of what's been done. So and then if there's anything off, we'll bring up on the calls. And then the same thing from, if you talk about like sales, running a sales team, it's the same process in terms of we will live go through people's calls. And if we see, for example, like we did this yesterday, this is literally what happened. We saw a sales call, or Jack runs a sales team, saw a sales call that wasn't that great. Guy's energy was low and he didn't follow the script as well as he should do, or the framework. We then like make everyone watch the call with him there for like 10, 15 minutes of that segment. And then we were like, okay, what do you think of that? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of shit. My energy was low, da, 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 da. And then when they see it from their end, they're like, oh shit. And then he signs up 2 people like after that call because he understands the mistakes he's making because he's watching it live again. And also I say the same thing for anyone here. If you're taking sales calls and you notice your performance is dropping, one of the best things you can actually go and do is like watch your own call and then go watch one of your best ones from maybe like a month ago and look at the difference. Because a lot of time it's like the energy, the tonality in terms of how you are. Whereas if you have a salesperson who's very kind of like tight and anxious, like I can feel that on calls when I review calls and I watch people's calls. Like, dude, you just need to like chill out. And like they're too quick to jump in on people.
I feel sometimes the more you think, the energy you have in the call, it's like they need this more than I want them to find. You just convert better.
Yeah, and it's...
You can feel that energy too if it's just too pushy.
Yeah, and that's where it's... The kind of way I'd explain it, it's like quiet assertiveness, if that makes sense. It's like, dude, I don't give a shit. Like, dude, you're out shape. Like, not my problem. You've got a 6-pack, I'm all right, dude. Like, I live in Dubai, it's awesome. But like, you said your wife doesn't, like, you're struggling because you've been struggling for 10 years. If you're not willing to bite the bullet with this and deal with this, it's never going to change. And like, actually having very direct, tough conversations, in particular men, is like the most important thing you need to do, because a lot of men who, if you're trying to target more successful people, have all this success in the other area of their life, but they know their health is a shit show, and they're kind of just like kicking the can down the road and don't want to deal with it. If you can be the one person who's honest with them and tell them the truth that probably no one else will, regardless if they sign up or not, they will respect you. And I'd say your goal with sales calls, this is where I look at it when I take sales calls, is that my goal is I'm going to impact this person and change their life regardless if they work with me or not, but I'm going to open their eyes in terms of what they can do or what they don't realize is possible, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people are telling themselves a lie of why they can't get in shape, build a business, do X, Y, Z. And when you start to see it, it's like you can see limiting beliefs straight away. That's why a lot of people, I'll catch people on what they say. And I'll even do it to myself. If I realize I've said something, I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. And like, for everyone here, that's really important to be conscious, because you shouldn't speak certain things over yourself, because then it kind of comes true, if that makes sense. Anything else on the setting management?
Yeah, just one more thing with when you're re-engaging what's it called, follow-up messages.
Yep.
Who's eligible for follow-up messages? Should it be every single person you should do at least 2 or 3 follow-ups?
Yeah, I would.
No matter what?
In the first 10 days, yeah, just keep.
My set at the moment is just like setting his weights. It's like his follow-ups are mega low. So should it?
Okay, I would ask him, has he worked for anyone else before?
Yeah.
Okay, why is he not working for them anymore? Okay, so like, people wouldn't know what I mean. If I had a setter who was really good, I wouldn't let him leave.
Yeah.
So like, if he was really good, he would know that actually the more follow-ups you do, the more volume you do, provided the messaging is good, like big caveat, that you will book more calls.
So you should have more follow-ups and you should outbound a day.
By a mile, because if you message 100 people a day, let's say you message 100 people a day, it's 3,000 people a month. You've then got 3,000 people from August you can follow up with. So, and that list keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then one of the best things, we can touch into long form content, one of the things that's great if you make, I don't know, as you start making some like YouTube stuff, that's a reason to actually like engage people. Oh, I just made this video about top tips for brides to get more toned arms. I thought I'd share it with you.
That's how
Do-
most sales people and bring people
Yeah,
who were
that's sick.
thinking about what people so they kind of feel the prices, to then kind of change their mind and try to do kind of just sending YouTube videos of like
But this is also, you know, we spoke about width and depth. Like, you're not necessarily getting tons and tons of views. I don't get tons and tons of views on our YouTube channel necessarily, but we make a lot of money from it because it gives a lot of value and it's very direct to what we do. It's the same thing for Mez. Dino.
So if the setter is like 100% commission,
Yeah.
how do I make sure like she's putting the hours in like every day?
Are you tracking it?
Well, we're gonna start now,
Okay.
but I want
Okay.
to, yeah.
Okay, so
Like asking how many conversations you have in a day.
yeah, so the minimum things you want to track is going to be new conversations, follow-up messages, and then calls booked. So those are kind of like going to be the three key things. I would also look at getting them to track probably the reply rate on the first message. So if you messaged 100 people today, like how many of those people replied? And then get them to send that in like a Slack conversation end of every day.
Right, just like you said. VA.
And then when you start to get a lot of setters, what we do is we get them to fill in like I don't know if it's a Google form or what type of form it is. It's basically they submit an end of day kind of like type form thing, and it then goes through to a dashboard that gives us a report of literally what every single person's kind of done.
I also noticed as well, your setters might swipe up to stories.
Yeah.
Is that a follow-up sort of?
If they're messaging people, any message is a follow-up.
You found that to be effective?
The people who are the top story viewers are the warmest leads generally, or like they're very engaged.
So people who view your stories, view their stories.
Yeah, I would do that. People, if you put polls up, emoji things where people can tap on, anything that can go in and get someone to raise their hand. We spoke earlier about like kind of giving setters swings at bat as well. I would at least twice a week have something you can put on your stories which is going to get people to message you, to create kind of conversations. And the long form content is also great for that because a lot of time, like we'll make a YouTube video and then the CTA will be, I don't know, we did one last week, it was like 500K was a keyword that sends them to like a 2-hour video. So like all we're doing is we're taking people, which is what you want, from short form to long form because the long form is what's going to really kind of like warm people up.
I think you slightly misunderstood me there. Like you will actually go on to their profile, see they.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry, yeah, I absolutely, yeah. So it was, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. So it's, yeah, so like if you're going to engage with followers, one of the best things you can do is go onto their profile, click their story, and reply to it.
Yeah.
Oh, like where are you going for dinner? Like, oh, I see you having steak. Like, where is this? It looks sick. I also live in Dubai. As an example, like, because actually you start an actual real conversation. That reply rate is kind of very high. But it's actually trying to have a meaningful conversation with that.
So you do that if they engage with you first in your story?
Yes, if they, or no, not if like, say for example, you could go onto your followers, and say for example you saw someone who's like, this guy looks like a great lead. You could like click on his profile, click on the story, and then be like, I don't know, say he's in Ibiza for example. Oh, where in Ibiza are you? Like, I also live there. Da, 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 like actually trying to create a real conversation. If that makes sense.
Right.
How do you track the performance of setters?
Okay, so that you remind me. I was going to come to this. So we use something called HubSpot. I think it's HubSpot, which is like a time tracker, and it tracks the hours they're doing on terms of like work on their phones and on the computers. We've also had the same thing in terms of with editors that we use to make sure that people are actually kind of doing the allotted hours and time they are. One big mistake with setters that people make is that they give people, Lathan, you're going to work for me for 10 hours straight. It's like, bro, no one in this room can sit there for 10 hours messaging people. Like, you lose your mind. So kind of be realistic in terms of like, you can do maybe 4 hours, like an hour or two off and like another 4 hours or something like that. You need to kind of break that up a little bit because if you just try and get people to do 10-hour shifts, it's going to be terrible and they're going to be like in the gym replying to messages. Like, it's not great.
Tomorrow I have a meeting with a setter.
Okay.
First time hiring a setter.
Tick.
So what are like the main key components?
So the main things I would look at when you're hiring a setter is, one, where are they from? Okay. How did you find him? He engaged you?
Yeah.
Okay, has he got any experience? Has he got any experience? Yeah. Okay, so I would like kind of stress test people a bit. I'd be like, okay, cool. So imagine I'm a guy and I'm struggling to lose weight and I've said I've tried like a keto diet, what would you say back to me? Just throw him on the bus with like random things that people might say. Yeah, if he's good with stuff like that, that's the first thing I would look at. And then the biggest thing you want from setters is that they have kind of like fluid intelligence. They can kind of think for themselves a bit, and that they're like disciplined are going to turn up, and that they're kind of hungry for it. If he wants to make money, like, particularly your account, you have a lot of engagement, you would do very, very well. So I would. Yeah, and then, so what I would do for you, I would create, this is my perfect client, the type of person who I want you to focus on. Like not in a disrespectful way, not the maybe Pakistani people from Dubai who might be following you. Like this is the, if it's not this type of person, like don't waste your time, because it's like, it's the efficiency thing of like you're just wasting time. Spend the time on the right people, and if you find someone who's really good, like take your time with them. And what I'd actually maybe even do is, if you see someone who like, I don't know, like the guy sees he's got a Bugatti or something stupid, I don't know, like we're in Dubai, these weird things happen, message you and then you voice note the guy or something, like try and create, because there'll be some people in there in your audience 100% who you could sell very high ticket coaching programs to, and they're the people you want to kind of pull out and like make sure you nurture that process through.
So do I, talking about the follow-ups, the voice
Yeah.
notes, do I do this?
I would set that up 100%. In particular for the first message that's getting sent is really, really valuable. Because I know you obviously automate all of yours with Go High Level, but because it's automated, they know it's automated, they're like, I don't want this.
So I let them engage with the people that are like engaging with my content.
Yeah.
On.
I would do new followers. I get them to follow up off of the automation. No, just the like, get them to go through the ideal prospect you want. So like, if you write a document of like, this is my perfect client of who we want to work with, and I'd also be like, this is who we do not want to work with. So like, he's crystal clear on that, because otherwise, the worst thing you want is him wasting his time with that, or then also trying to book in people who's like, is the delivery driver, and like, dude, this is a waste of time. So being very clear from that is very important. So I'd say for everyone here, if you haven't done that with your setters, have like an ICP, ideal client profile, of like, this is the exact person we work with, this is who this avatar is. Like, you should know that from a marketing perspective anyway. And then, and you might have, as your business grows, like kind of different variations of that, but you should kind of have clarity with that.
How about the commission and the payments?
That kind of depends. What have you spoken to him about so far?
So what I told him is we're going to do like a test.
Okay.
8 weeks. Told him I want to close 8 people in these 8 weeks, so 1 per week. 10%. Then we might like up the percentage.
10% commission only setting.
On every like.
That's quite high, but it's fair. What's your program price, right? Is it 3,000?
Between 2 and 3.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably fair. If it's just on the upfront payment, I think it's probably on the high end, but then if he's very good and you're not paying him a base, you can't really lose. But what you also want is him to be incentivized, so then he finds you the best leads. Like, we have a setter who's, I've spoken about a lot, who's like 18, who's Romanian, and we just pay him commission only, and he crushes. He's so good at high level conversation, to the point that like some clients who we work with actually know he's on my account, and they'll message asking him like, oh, what do you think of it? Like, dude, like, you're not supposed to be coaching people. Like, they'll start asking him advice. I'm like, I saw it yesterday, I just kind of ignored it. But that's what you want, because when they're bought in, what they focus on, they have a percentage of the upside. They're looking for the whales, like the clients who like, okay, this guy could pay a lot of money, then like Laith, you need to take this guy. Do you know what I mean?
Charlie, so I'm going to be on board the newsletter tomorrow or by the weekend. For that process, obviously I don't want to give it login credentials straight away for like Meta or Instagram or mobile. Would you recommend just putting them as an account user on Meta Business Suite?
You could, yeah. So what I would do, what we do now is, and if you've got the ability to do this, is a great way to kind of test setters. It might be a good idea for you as well, Dino. Is that the first day we will put them in somewhere where they can't really cause any damage. So so for us, we use school. So we'll message people coming into our school community. Maybe if you don't use Facebook much, you could put them on Facebook, because all you want to do is look at like how do they handle conversations with actual people and how does that kind of work? And then if they then perform, we then move them up. And like, even in our own business, we move people from our 7-figure scaling systems account, like that Matasia guy I mentioned, he came in and he was dialing. He then went into the Instagram account for 7-figure scaling systems. He then went to my main account, and then he took a sales call yesterday. So he's kind of worked his way through, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. And then at what point would you give someone like access to your Instagram?
Once I kind of had proof of concept, once I was comfortable with them, the big thing for that is kind of trust, but also as long as you've got two-factor authentication on, you don't have an issue. The most important thing, and everyone in this room needs to take ownership of doing this, is to make sure they're on a VPN and you're on the same location. And do not give them the passcode, the password, until they send you like a screen recording on their phone of like, yeah, I'm logged in, here it is.
And 6 months in, when they start logging out, and your account goes to the Philippines, which is where my account has been.
Okay, so that's not because of a VPN, that's because of the GPS. So you need to have a GPS spoofer on the account if they're in a weird location.
Is it safe as long as it's the same country, or must be the same exact location?
If it's, I would. Okay, so the most valuable asset you probably have in your business online is probably your Instagram account.
Yeah.
So like, I would have like we use Surfshark, I'd have an account that you have a dedicated VPN or a specific VPN that you use, and then everyone logs in and use the exact same one, just to minimize any problems. Because the sake of an extra half an hour of like making sure it's done properly could save a lot of headaches in the back end. So I would recommend doing that and having all using the exact same account, IP address, everything needs to be the same, like in a perfect scenario. And I would say this is definitely something you want to take time with.
What do you think of ManyChat, the option of the live chat thing? So I give them access to the live chat.
In what respect, sorry? In terms of having the setter log into that?
Yeah.
I don't think that's an issue. Or ManyChat's not a problem. It's just if they log into the actual account on the Instagram app.
Is there a limit, Charity, in terms of don't let any more than X people log in?
So I was working with a lady called Adley Kinsman, who's like kind of big on the social media thing, and I asked her that, and she said they have 5 on her account. I'd kind of keep it as minimal as possible. They are bringing something out that's been released in the US, which is, I can't remember what it's called, like Access or something. I'll share some info about it, where people can log in without having to have the password. But I would generally just make sure that you have two-factor authentication, they're all on the same VPN, and then if you've got setters that are in weird locations that they have GPS spoofers on. We use AnyGo by TenorShare, and then what you can do is you can get them to log in and then change the location, and then they can actually just turn the location off on the phone, like in the settings, so their GPS is turned off.
I just assumed she was logging out of the VPN and then logging back in.
But it's not the VPN's difference. The VPN works off the IP address. Instagram is picking up off the GPS of the phone of where the phone is located.
Right.
So the GPS spoofer will relocate where it thinks the phone is to wherever you want, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you notice, I mean, you obviously moved here a long time ago, anyone else notice when you moved to Dubai where you climbed?
100%.
Yeah, but I thought that's because my
I think it's
account
worth
was
us buying a second phone. Just,
Is your current one's GPS spoofed?
no, it's registered phone, so I don't know GPS with that.
Yeah, dude, 100%. 100%. Because it takes about 2 weeks for it to kind of update. I would 100% do that.
It's still based in the UK, but
I think it doesn't like it. So I would, what I would actually do is if she's keeping her UK phone and phone number, which I presume she probably is, I would make that the work phone and GPS spoof that one because it's got a UK phone number on it, and then have another one that's maybe a personal phone that has GPS and does whatever, would be my advice.
So I have 2 setters. One is in Spain,
Yeah.
one is in Thailand. Should I be using the GPS?
Yeah, to stop the account moving around, otherwise it can, like, our account ended up in Romania at one point because of one of our guys, so like, not ideal.
Here's another thing then. I get them to log in with Instagram on the computer.
Computer's fine, computer's fine.
Should they be doing it on the phone? Is that
On the phone it's better. How do they message new followers?
super not at the moment?
Okay, so when they start to message new followers, they will need to do that and then have a GPS spoofer.
Okay.
with a GPS spoof, should just do it to the US instead.
We actually tried this. So I moved my account to the US because I was there for a while and ended up moving anyway. So I was like, I'm just going to do it. I think you're better off just leaving it as the UK. It's my kind of, because when you're in the UK, you also pick up a lot of American traffic anyway. It seems to kind of be in the same ecosystem to some degree.
When you say move the account, what do you mean?
If you click on your Instagram account and click the 3 dots and go to About, it will show the location of where the account is. And then what happens is the content you produce will then get pushed out in that algorithm. So for example, an easy way to test this, if you post on TikTok and you've got a GPS spoofer, it will show you where the traffic's getting pushed to. So it'll be like here, Saudi, Ethiopia, like probably not places you want. Like Dubai's okay, but.
Charlie, just on the setter, I had a call with Aidan last night.
Yeah.
One of my guys, he was misreporting his numbers. So Aidan showed me like a filter you can run the CRM with that.
On Go High Level?
Yeah,
bro. Aidan loves catching people out on that.
So this guy reporting that he's doing like 300 outbound. He did like 23 in 2 hours. It was say just over 100 in his 8-hour shift. So how would you handle that now?
Okay, so what I would do, I would get him on a call and I'd be like, okay, cool. So like, how many outbounds did you do yesterday? You said you did this, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me actually show you like how many you actually did. And like just go through and then be like, this cannot happen. Like you need to do your numbers and I can also track what you're doing. So like let's like leave it at this and not let this happen again. Because like if they know you can track and you're watching, this is also why the end of day report thing is important, because you like business is like ultimately just math at the end of the game. So like if our call numbers are down, there's always a reason why and we have the numbers for it. Okay, on Friday last week we didn't do the amount of numbers we were supposed to, we can see that, and it maybe takes us 3 to 5 days to book a course. It's now affecting us now, if that makes sense. So you can always try and track it back.
So if you get rid of this guy, would you change passwords of all the guys?
Yeah. It'd be great when Instagram brings this thing in where you can log people in without having to give them an account.
When do you get rid of your setter? Because I've just got such anxiety of going through the hiring process, but she's made the same mistake like 3 times now, not reading the conversations and repeating.
How long has she worked for you?
How long?
Yeah.
She worked for me about 7 months.
I'd get rid of them. But what I would do first, you know the expression like cut your nose off to bite your face or whatever it is, I would try and find someone who's better first, bring them in and be like, oh, we'll try you for like, Charlie's coming in for a few hours a day to take this other shift and see what they're like, train them up. Okay, this person's way better, and then just kick the other pen out, like swap them around.
I cut her hours down to just doing outbounds, and now I've like fucked it because now I've got.
Okay, so then what I would do is like, you can have someone who's kind of retarded just to do the outbounds because it's literally just like kind of the same thing. And then you want someone who's actually skilled who can handle the conversation.
Yeah, okay. Which I thought was me, but.
You need to get someone in to kind of do that.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Our main setter has been with us for 2.5 years. I was set for like 6 times, and then we train it properly. Now, like sometimes even I think I'm talking to my wife.
Anything else in terms of like DM setting?
Yeah, how many messages I'm safe to send every day?
Okay, so this has actually increased a lot. What I would say is, I don't know if this is the same expression in Spain, but it's like, if you have a golden goose, you don't want to like kind of strangle and kill the golden goose, like you want to keep laying eggs. So I would start with going like 100 new conversations a day and then take it up maybe like 20 a week. The sweet spot I think is about 100 to 150. I don't see anyone generally having any issues. I know some people who can maybe do like 300, but I would personally rather just play it safe and then work well on the back end following up. And then if you've got so many followers and leads coming through, just focus on picking out the right people.
That's only new message, the new followers.
That's new conversations. So like if you follow me and then I message you, that's the only, like you can follow up 5,000 people if you want to, go to town, which is why it's great. And that's why when you do that, you can just turn over so much in terms of the inbox. You don't have to worry about the back end, it's just the front.
Because I have a system now that's automated for that.
Yeah.
So I have to see like how many minutes it's going to send the message.
Is that on ManyChat or Meta Business Suite?
No, it's a friend of mine,
Okay.
he's genius, and he just
Okay.
programmed something.
Okay. That I would sometimes be careful with the stuff that's built in.
I can make it look like a human because it's not like 100 messages in a second,
Yeah.
but it's spread out
Okay.
all around the day.
That's the only thing I would sometimes be careful with some of the automated stuff as well. And also if you can do that with whatever it is, the messages have different variations.
I can, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like,
this.
yes, it's not like sending the same thing 10 times. Yeah. Then, 100% I would do
I
that.
can time it like.
So like we do that with Go High Level and kind of spread messaging sequences out. If you do that off people coming through from lead magnets, works well. And then if you also talk about long form content, we'll have like a sequence where someone will come in for a guide or lead magnet or whatever the thing is. Like over like 2-3 weeks, we'll send them a couple of videos, but like every 5 to 7 days. So it's just constantly kind of creating conversations and reignite people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I only use this one for the first cold message.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it should be fine. And is that starting the conversations for you?
Yeah.
And where is it finding the people to message?
Like it goes to my new followers.
Okay.
And it scans.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's really good. So, like, dude, if you can do that, I would just blast more followers in.
Yeah.
But just make sure, if you can, you're tracking the response rates.
And I can turn it off by night if I want.
Yeah.
That's about AI.
But not exactly. It's a friend of mine. He's a genius with programming, and he does it with AI.
Yeah.
With a cell phone, so
Yeah.
it looks real.
Yeah.
And from the computer, he dials into the phone.
I
The phone unlocks and it goes in like it was a human, and it does all the actions, but real time.
if you, as long as it doesn't cause issues on the account, then I would just, yeah. The front end is the only place you want to kind of be cautious, but like for you, dude, the money's in the follow-ups, like constantly.
Sure.
And I'd say actually the biggest mistake most people make as well on the sales aspect is not following up kind of older leads. So particularly if someone's turned up on a call and they spent half an hour with you, an hour, however long it is, they're clearly there for some type of reason. So I would like constantly make sure people are kind of following up with that. If you haven't used it, we've got a great sales tracker that's really easy for use for phone closing, which will track all your numbers and easy to then just skim back through and like follow up with people. Leith.
Regarding the lead magnet, so I have a lot of engagement. I have a lot of leads. For example, yesterday I was a story regarding the boosting testosterone for my about 35. So it's like really niche down to my perfect client. So I send the freebie or the guide. What's the best next step?
Okay, so the best next step, you send them a free lead magnet or whatever it was. What was it to help with testosterone?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So then the second question I'd ask is like, so obviously testosterone is something you're trying to work on. What have you tried before to try and solve this? How long has this been going for? Yeah.
I did this. I tagged them.
Yeah.
And I did this. It's all automated.
And are they replying?
Yeah, most of them.
Yeah. And then what I would then do is have the setter come in after that.
So to continue the...
Yeah, because the variation of what they could say off the back of that is so wide that you have no idea.
So I keep using this way.
Off the first sequence, yeah, and then what you want is the person to kind of like vomit information into the DM, hopefully, and then the setter can kind of deal with that. That's where a lot of people go wrong, is they try and automate that next part, but like what they could say could be so broad, you have no idea.
And when do you use the CTA to the VSL or directly to book code? That's it.
So I would do that maybe at least once a week. And I would, so for you have a lot of traffic, there's two options. I would personally still just get a set to handle it, because what I'd want them to do is actually make sure they qualify the people coming through, so they're not wasting your time because you're taking the call. And then secondly, there's going to be some people who maybe need a bit of conversation to get into the call, because some of the people in the Arabic market can be quite difficult, like respectfully. So I would do a CTA to reply that maybe is like, testosterone. Like if you're a guy who's over 30, you want to get a six-pack by 2026, reply 2026 to me. Anyone who replies 2026, get the setter to go through and handle the conversation to kind of qualify people. And if they're not qualified, I just would send them a free lead magnet or a YouTube video or something, and then they just want to kind of pull out the people who are competent.
So is it the sellers? Do you have your sellers unfollow people?
Yeah, we incrementally just go through and just kind of unfollow people. I would do 100. Like you can cause issues on your account if you do too much of anything. So ideally, I would kind of like if I could press a button and just delete like 5, like loads of them, I would do, but you kind of have to remove them. So yeah, I would try and keep knocking some of them off.
I was thinking about putting a quiz in my bio.
Yeah.
Because now we're doing the blood work stuff, we're looking at gut health, sleep, stress, and hormones.
Yeah.
Do you have like any recommendations on one? Because I asked ChatGPT and it was like do a type form, but I just feel like that could just create loads of admin that I would have to go in and then.
So there's 2 things you can do that. We've got a couple of clients. There's a guy in the US who I won't say because he wants to kind of keep his stuff private, who's doing 120k a month using something kind of similar. He does his off of Typeform and then uses logic off of it. Okay. The second thing you could use is the Score app, which is a system Dan Priestley's a friend of mine built, which is like a software. The thing I would say is, how are you going to, is this you're just driving people to click the link in the bio?
Yeah, pretty much, because my bios, we're just optimising it at the moment, and I just thought it would be good to do, and then have a lead magnet for each of those pillars, or be able to generate conversations.
Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay. I wouldn't focus on this yet. I'd focus on.
I did think.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, do you know what we said earlier? Like the da-da-da-da. This is an example that, like, yes, that's a good idea, but like, maybe not right now because there's other things that will like make you money very quickly. Rather than that, it might take a few months to kind of get going. It's the same thing from like the VSL thing, where I don't recommend to people straight away because it's a bit of a work to kind of get the thing going. It might take 2-3 months, whereas you can get the setter performing in like 2-3 days.
With the quizzes we tried, one-to-one group rights, the percentage of actually filling it in as opposed to just clicking on it was overwhelmingly much higher with men when we then go through the whole course.
I personally think it's maybe a bit of a red shiny object.
Yeah,
if you want an, I would just literally just like book a call kind of link for now and just don't overcomplicate it. And then, yeah, because it's, and I've done this a lot. I've tried to do too many things, just like focus on like one thing at a time. Yeah. And like for everyone here, like what's the main thing that you need to focus on as a priority? So for us, it's sales team. I need more people who can sell and I need to be able to manage that because I know I can get leads from ads. No, sales and kind of setting as well. So, like, yes, I can go and run more ads, and we spent 4 hours making videos and stuff yesterday, which is getting traffic into our system. But then my main priorities is optimizing our sales systems, and then some of the financing stuff we're doing, like improving our offer, so it's like a no-brainer, and then everything else will work. And then there's other things I want to do, and I thought about doing quiz fun, like all this, but if you have something that's already working, you just need to get that to like 10 out of 10 and max that as much as possible. So for you, it would be the boosted followers, DM them, get them on a call, and then probably LinkedIn. So I'd like to say for everyone, don't try and get distracted by, just because you can do something and it might work, doesn't mean you should necessarily do it, if that makes sense. Yeah, like, and also, like, I can probably say, oh, this is kind of a pain in the ass, but like, if you're not like, if it's not like, hell yes, this is definitely going to work, and you've got other things you need to do, just don't do it. You probably had a lot of things like that as well, right? Yeah, because I get ideas all the time, like, oh, this is a great idea, but like, yeah. I've got more ideas than time, or just... Yeah, and then it does nothing, right? And this is like, this is the point, and this is like, I've really realised, is that there's a difference between being busy and being effective. Like, your job is to do, like, be as effective as possible. So if you just, your business is to hopefully have a record month because you focus on sales rather than building a load of new shit that might be fun and it kind of seems like novel, but it's often the novel thing that stops you growing the business. Yeah, literally do, like, this is the problem. Like, just like...
Isn't that just a scarcity thing as well, like when you...
So, okay, there's a really good podcast I recorded that's not come out with a guy called Seb Bates, and he scaled his business to 10 million a year, and it's the biggest martial arts academy in the Gulf region for kids. And he literally said something to me, it's like, I think Dan Priestley said this to him, because he mentored Seb, and it was, you need to focus on being okay being bored and accepting being at a glass ceiling for a little period of time. Because for you to improve a sales team, you can't do that in a day. it takes time to kind of train people. So it's like understanding often when this is really boring and monotonous is probably when you're actually doing the right thing, because a lot of the time, I think entrepreneurship is a combination of like ADHD and autism. Like these intelligent people have too many ideas and we want to try and do everything. It's like, that's actually what slows people down, is you just need to kind of stick doing the thing that needs to be done, rather than, oh, I've kind of like, and I've done this so many times, I've 70% done something and it's kind of working and I'm trying to go to the next thing. So like, what you want to get is that to 100, get someone else to manage it and run it, and then you can go to the next thing, if that makes sense. And the same thing for like you doing it with your business, like the only thing I would focus on is like more followers in the setters and your business will like 3x. Like nothing else.
100%.
So you can probably see that now as well, right? Yeah. Okay, we've talked about kind of filtering leads. Consistency with content is just planning. I would say kind of organization. So I'm aware, I'll give it like a personal example. So I'm aware I might be MIA for a week or two from filming with having a child in a couple of weeks. So we're filming loads and loads and loads of podcasts and YouTube videos. So we're like 2 months ahead. So it's not pressure on me or I'm having to kind of create stuff like short notice or just put shit stuff out. So try and plan ahead, and it creates a lot less stress for you. So from a filming perspective, I would always recommend that you just block in time where you film every single week or every 2 weeks, because your job is to get traffic into the business. Like regardless of whether you feel like it or not sometimes, like that is your job. It's like when if you used to have an actual job, I used to have an actual job and turn up, like I didn't want to do the thing, but I still did it anyway. It's the same thing, and this is your actual business, so you need to make sure you do that. So I would say for you, Joanne, it's just being like consistent of maybe having you put a time in your diary every week where you plan content, and you put a time in the diary when you film content. Because the hardest part, in my opinion, is actually the planning. Me and Mike talk about it a lot, like it's mentally draining coming up with ideas. To plan? Yeah. With AI now, it's so easy. But a lot of times I tend to have ideas, and I have notes in my phone, and I'll just, if I'm looking at long form, I just get ideas for titles, or I read a book and I get an idea, and okay, this is a sick thing I can talk about, and then things kind of come to you over the week. So if you get ideas for things, just store them in your phone, in your notes, and then kind of batch them.
Just for content, what are your thoughts on like dress code? So if you're in the gym, it obviously makes sense to wear gym attire.
Yeah.
If you're targeting executives, is what you're putting out in alignment with that, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. So I think.
Somebody just wearing a collared shirt, he sits down, he's a nice YouTube studio, and just talks. Versus showing like workout clips or shit in the gym, you're wearing a string top.
Yeah, so I wouldn't look like you've robbed Gymshark, if that makes sense. If you think of what brands resonate with wealthier executives, maybe you have a nice like Lululemon vest, and like, oh, I got that vest. Like, try and mirror the kind of stuff they would do, because people buy from people and they'll see themselves in it. But I also think if you want to try and target, say, more of the executive market, then yes, maybe having you in the gym, maybe you at home, like looking more professional, is a good balance. And I think you have a good look for that as well. So I would test it and try. What I would say is you're probably less likely to kind of get reach on some of those things, particularly massively. But I think the conversions off of them potentially will be a lot higher.
I actually did this, so because I work with corporate women, and I wore like gym leggings, a crop top, but a suit jacket over the top with my laptop, and went to like St. Pat, because I was living in London at the time, and did like a shoot there, and we got less engagement on the post, but I had more year-long paid calls from corporate women sign up when I had content like that.
So you wore your corporate outfit.
Yeah, it kind of wasn't like, it was more like a casual suit jacket over the top of like a smart gym outfit. But I definitely had more corporate women come in, and for longer periods. Like I had like my only year paid in fulls when I did that shoot.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if it was me, for example, I would be like, I'd almost take the piss out of what people think they should do. So I would dress smart and like, oh, you're a corporate executive, you think you have to eat chicken and broccoli like all day long. Like, show an example. I'd be reheating this in the microwave. Like I used to do that when I used to work in an actual job, and people fucking hate me. Like reheating fish in the office. Like you can make jokes about that, right? Like that's gonna kind of come across. Like a. Yeah. Yeah, because I told her that's like if it was me, I'd wear a suit in the gym and like record something like that, just make it different. Yeah, it's the same thing because people know you're for them or not for them, if that kind of makes sense. What's that, sorry? To be honest, that wasn't actually, it was a cool idea, but it didn't do as well as I thought it did. I think the hook on the Captain Hook wasn't as good as it should have been. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, that'd be great. Do it like you're in a golf buggy. Like we filmed some stuff in a golf buggy. Like Sean, who's on the program, is like a golf pro. Who's like, you actually replied to one of my stories, being like, "Oh, your putting's quite good, but your swing's terrible." I was like, yeah, but that's like, so this is why the creative is really important on ads, because even if the people don't buy, they remember this person, and then they see the organic or they see a YouTube video, like, oh, let's click and I like this guy. Because like, how can you kind of be memorable? Because what's very powerful in ads is the amount of impressions and reach you can get, let alone the money you can make. So we probably get maybe 1.52 million people, to 1.52 million impressions a month on ads, which is a lot. But then people then start to recognize your face and they see you in kind of other places. So that kind of all pieces together.
With creative, so I've started using Claude for my scripts instead of ChatGPT, but then putting those scripts back into ChatGPT to ask for creative and visual co-writers and stuff. Have you got any other tips on that?
On using AI or using content?
Just on how to be more creative with the creative.
So I think the most important thing from the creative aspect a lot of people struggle with is maybe the visuals. And then also, okay, so what I would ask, this is the best prompt you can put into AI for anything, and it's so simple, is rate this out of 10.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, oh, this isn't, and it'll come back and it's like a 7.5, and it'll tell you why. Okay, like now make it a 10. So that will help a lot.
The script or the video once you film
The script.
Yeah.
Because if the words you say are garbage and the hook doesn't compel people, then it doesn't work.
Well, I've also been asking ChatGPT if my Claude scripts are scientifically factual, and then it will come back and tell me which parts aren't, which kind of shocked me that they weren't in the first place.
Yeah, you kind of need to, it depends what you're saying in some contexts, because you kind of need to be careful with some things, but I would, that rating out of 10 thing is the most important. And then what I would do is if you make the scripts out, I would think the next most important thing after the hook is, first 6 seconds is everything. What do you want the visual to look like? So the Captain Hook thing, we're talking about hook, right? So it's like, it kind of made sense. What can you do in the visual that is then going to kind of be engaging?
Does it need to make sense, or does it need to just keep people watching?
I can even just keep people watching. So like, but also, even if you're, what would mirrors with your target market? Like, what would they resonate with? So maybe it's you, I don't know, they're a busy professional and like you getting dressed in smart clothes while you're talking, starting the reel, or like try and make it engaging in some manner. The second thing from a content perspective I've started to see do quite well is, carousel's crushing, and then secondly is, it's so easy as well, is using text that's very engaging or is going to create conversation, like overlaid on images as reels, like that, because a lot of people will kind of share them and resonate with them. So if you have a certain belief that, I don't know, about ketogenic diets, or like Shane, I imagine you probably have some health, but like something about the dehumidifiers again would be another good example. That would be a good thing you could do that on, right? Yeah. Dude, I got 4 of them now. Yeah, I got loads of them. It's annoying. You have to keep empty all the time. Bro, it's insane. But that's a great content idea. So like, I would 100% do that. So yeah, if you can have that kind of variation, the text ones, if you can get, but also, when we spoke about LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a really good place to test stuff. Because if certain things are getting a lot of traction there in terms of messaging, it's probably going to work on Instagram as well, even though the avatar is slightly different, it's a different platform. Like, I know like Alex Hormozy does that on Twitter because there's a lot of engagement there, but if like, I post stuff sometimes on Twitter, but I don't get much traction on it, so I don't really know what's kind of working. With LinkedIn is, yes, this is loads of people getting involved in this, or they're not.
You try the trial reels.
You see my post on there?
I read something, I don't know if you were.
Okay, yeah, so trial reels I would post, if anyone wants a massive hack, if you haven't heard this already in terms of how to get more traffic, if you go through your IG account for the last 6 to 12 months and find your highest 20 performing reels, you basically want to post those every single day on trial reels, the same ones. Because they're...
Do you save them?
What's that, sorry?
Do you save them first and you repost?
Yeah, so, or like if you have the original one, and then you just repost them again in trial reels, because it'll only get pushed to new followers, and it's kind of proof of concept.
Charlie told us to do this. It's been amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
We actually chose, you can see which ones that like got the most followers from, specifically actually tells you. And then we can repost those like every day. We post 10 trial reels.
And it's so easy.
Boosted.
No, but it costs you nothing.
Yeah.
It's completely free, dude, and it gets pushed to new people. Bro, no, we don't put captions on. We just literally just upload them and off it goes. So it's a massive hack.
What do you put a caption in?
Same ones, I'd be like, da, 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 da. Like Mez is saying he's been doing it, because we told him he's doing really well. Yeah, if you're not doing that, that's another massive hack.
Can you program them as well?
In what respect?
Like schedule them.
Not sure if you can. I think you can. Yeah, I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. You could probably do it in batches, but that works really, really well.
Okay.
Anything else on the content side? Itaza, do you have anything you want to add on the content side?
Let's say you're going to do like a scripted ad for a week. What we do then? Do you still do like the content awards? Like, how would you optimize that? Because that's going to be on.
Sorry, how long do you want the ad to be for a lead magnet?
How long do you want the ad to be? And the best parts of the scripts. And I think similar things that you must think about the golfing. But like, would you actually make sure it's relevant to the background experience there, or would you test it where it's?
Yeah, I would say what's really important with ads is, so if you're going to run them in Ads Manager, you want to have try different variations of ads and look for what works, then kind of do more iterations of that. So then what I would look at is, say, for example, I would test some things that are just like graphic ads, and then I would test, so like a really easy ad that works very well is if you have really good copy, like white text, black background. Like we have one that's like how to, I don't know, 10x your leads and followers for free or something, I can't remember, it's off the top of my head. But you could have something like how to 10x your fat loss in under 30 minutes, something like that, for like a free lead magnet. And a lot of people click on it because it's really easy and clear to kind of understand what it is. When it comes to video ads, I find, because we use Hyros to track the data, the image ads that kind of more clickbait tend to get cheaper cost per leads, but the ones that come from videos tend to actually make more money. So what I look at is I try different styles. The max I'd probably try and make an ad is maybe 45 to 60 seconds. But what I'd probably try and keep them shorter if it's to a lead magnet. Because it's like a lower ask, right? So, because I'm giving you something, I'm not asking you to try and get on a call or watch a training or da-da-da. So I would also try and put some social proof in the ad. So, what's the lead magnet you're thinking of?
Very tested people like people on a grocery shop, for example.
Okay. What's the lead magnet called? Okay, so let's say it's a Waitrose fat loss guide. Let's say the ad could be, I don't know, say if you want to make a clickbait, you can get those fat things of like, are you a busy executive who's shopping at Waitrose and doesn't know what to eat and you want to lose all this body fat? Like you could have a visual representation of that, and I'd be like, I just put together the 5-step checklist for what you need to eat at Waitrose to drop 10 pounds in 30 days. Just like Itaza, who did X to Y, just like Holly, who did da. If you want free access to it, hit the link below, something like that. Yeah, it's like hook what the thing is, case study, client result, if you want for instant access. And also what you want to do is you want to make it something that I found helped a lot is you can implement this in under, or you can get access to, or you can do this within, like, so it's ease of them doing it because you don't want to make it sound difficult. But when you do that, it's just like testing the hooks. So some of the hooks that work really well that I see on any type of ad is, are you stuck X, Y? Do you have no clue how to do da 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 da? Are you this person who wants to achieve X, Y? So are you a real estate agent in Dubai who wants to drop £20 to get in shape and sell more properties? I don't know, like whatever your specific kind of niche is. If you can kind of be specific in that, I would try different frameworks of that, if that makes sense.
Do you like a girls who needs to be inspiration or pain?
Yeah. I'd always kind of go for the pain points convert better than the inspiration, I find. And then, because what you want to do is use the negativity to pull them in, and then show them someone in it who's done the thing they want to do, and then here's the solution that they used, if that makes sense. Trying to think, you mentioned in terms of like the visuals on the ads as well, so I would test different things. So in fitness, I would always do the ads generally in 3 places I would do would be, or 4. 1 would be kitchen, 1 would be supermarket, 2 would be gym, 4th would be maybe like the beach or something, or like by the pool. Because the beach by the pool is like aspirational, what someone wants. The supermarket thing, for example, they are confused about food. You can use that depending on what the lead magnet is. Kitchens are kind of self-explanatory, and so is the gym. I think it's promotion. We spoke about Mez. Anything else on the content side? Cover call, Darren.
I'm almost afraid to ask this question.
Okay, go for it.
It's like, you know, you said about blood strangle.
Yeah.
So I was getting everything for me comes from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Until a few months ago, where I started doing
Yeah.
aviation-based memes and reels, right, and sprinkling in a little bit of fitness,
Yeah.
as well, which is working, getting like 5 or 6 new clients a month off of it. But I'm wondering, is there any long-term downfalls to what I'm doing? Like, so like it's getting loads of followers. It's getting like 30,000 followers in the last 4 months.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're relevant as well, and we're getting sales off it. But like a lot of the time, people are like, I don't know what you do. Like, why are you talking to me? You know, if I do start conversations with.
Okay.
What I'm trying to ask is it okay to keep a bit of a balance, or I keep doing them because they're bringing in free?
Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to have. I might kind of alluded to this. You want to have top of funnel content, middle of funnel content, and like bottom of funnel, which is like conversion content. So with that, the meme kind of viral stuff is going to be your top of funnel, just like pull people in. The middle of funnel might be kind of like value content, which is like, this is how aviation experts do X, Y, Z. In the bottom of funnel is going to be like a direct CTA trying to sell stuff essentially. So it's going to be like, here's how Charlie, who's an aircraft engineer, did X to Y. And then you have a kind of caption talking about it. And then it's just being very clear on a messaging standpoint in that. I would say in terms of like a ratio, you want to look at like at least a 2-to-1 ratio in terms of like 2 kind of give value, top of funnel post, and then 1 sales is kind of max. Maybe even 3-to-1. And a great thing I'd say for everyone to think about from a content perspective is if you look at what the best people do from a marketing. Who watched Alex Hormozi's book launch thing? Okay, so the whole of that was just a case study in the pitch. This is how I did this with this book, and then this book, every book launch is a case study of how he actually did the whole thing. So the whole thing makes sense, it's congruent. So all of your content wants to be case studies. If you think about that, it's literally like, here's how Lath went from X to Y. Here's how this person did this. This is the thing that Adrian wasn't doing, and this is why he couldn't gain muscle. Like, because that's obviously relevant to your specific pain points of your clients, but that's what you want to focus on from a content perspective is like case studies. And you can even do that with, say we mentioned about like the Waitrose supermarket thing, right? It's like, I used to be fat when I was a kid and I used to drink too much orange juice. So that's a true story. So you could like pick up a thing of orange juice and like walk down Waitrose and be like, this was the exact reason why Charlie was overweight when he was a kid, because he was drinking 2,000 calories a day from orange juice because he didn't want to drink water. And then he then started doing this, and he did it. Like, you see what I mean? Like, you can story tell and use case studies at the same time, and have visual props, and like the whole thing kind of makes sense. Anything else content-wise? So if we think we need content, ad setters, shoot.
With which frequency would you put like top content, middle, funnel?
That's a great question. This sounds really stupid. I'd probably not overthink it too much. I would say the bottom of funnel content is the only one I'd probably kind of limit, because you don't want to come across just like take. I'd probably say every 3 or 4 posts is something maybe like that in terms of from a main feed post type of thing. And I'd say top of funnel, you want to try and get something. If you can get 2 to 3 things a week that are kind of top of funnel that can pull loads of people on, is great.
Yeah, I don't want to sound I'm sending all the time.
Yeah. So like, my marketing approach is more like reciprocity. So I just want to give as much value, because then I know it's going to come back. And if you continue to do that, and then you do the case studies and show the results, people know you can solve their problem, and they can see all these other people you've helped, like they will come to you. Do you know what I mean? So like, that's kind of the marketing approach I would think for you.
And one last thing, would you post like to a specific gender, or you just keep it like broad?
What's your clientele base?
It was men before, like between 30 and 55.
Yeah.
But now, like I have every time more women.
Okay.
So I want to like to.
Do you know what the percentage is of your clients? Is it 50-50 or?
More or less.
Okay. What is there a specific type of client you want more of?
I think I'll do better with women.
Okay.
Because like my gyms, 75% of my clientele are women, both of them.
Okay. So based on what you said, I would push more to the female market.
I wanted to push at the beginning to men because I feel I can resonate more
Yeah.
with men. But I see it's.
Okay.
Maybe it's going to be better with women.
The female market is way bigger than male market, and the reason for that is men have too much of an ego and are too arrogant to ask for help. Dude, like you're fat and you don't know what you're doing, and like they just won't accept it. So whereas women are much more coachable. In a polite way, I think they're more difficult to coach in some respects sometimes. But if you're not doing the coaching, then I would I'd probably push very heavily in terms of like the female market. Then from a strategic standpoint of how I would do that, I'd probably move 75% of your content to focus to females directly for 4 weeks and kind of see what happens, if that makes sense, and kind of what feedback you get. I wouldn't go on your Instagram account and like rebrand it of like, I just work with but just test the waters by pushing more female and then kind of see what comes back.
Maybe with trail reels as well.
Yeah, trial reels would be good. So like call to actions on your stories, make them female specific, see if you get more. Right. Do you know what the demographic is on your IG audience?
Like in which sense?
What percentage is male and female?
Am I following? Right.
Yeah.
It's split. It's 75, 25, but male.
75% male?
Yeah, because I push the ads to male.
Okay. Okay, so we spoke about the ads. I would try one of them to women and then see how that performs. And if that crushes, I would just go down that. Okay. And then that will answer the question straight away. Right. Because the market's way bigger, they're easier to sell to because women are buy on like an emotion more.
Yeah.
So that I would do that and just test it on the boosted reel. If that starts to crush, I'll be like, okay, cool, that's like green light, go.
Okay.
Cool. Anything else? Sorry.
Gemini's new AI software is just updated. It's the only AI software at the moment which allows you to upload videos and you can transcribe videos directly. You can also play around with, say for instance, Charlie said about how sometimes he'll put a script or whatever it is into ChatGPT and say, rate this out of 10. With this software, it might give you the ability at the moment to be able to dump a reel in there and say, can you rate this out of 10? And then it might be able to give you feedback on that reel specifically to then be able to improve.
Gemini.
So there's that at the moment. In regards to carousel posts, because carousel posts are super hot at the moment, there's an AI software called Nano Banana, which is an extension from Gemini. And it's the most powerful software to create graphics. So say for instance, if you're scrolling through Instagram, which if you're not already dedicated time to specifically scroll through your Instagram to see what's working in your feed, I would definitely say do that. You can pick, say for instance, carousels that are working in the fitness industry or outside the fitness industry as well. Screen grab each one, put it into ChatGPT, even if it's nothing to do with fitness, even if you just like the aesthetics and the message is good, screen grab each individual slide, dump it all into ChatGPT and say, I really like the sound of this, can you do it on this topic? And say, fitness specific. It will then script it out for you in fitness. Then you can take that exact graphic that's visually good, dump it into Nano Banana and say, can you recreate this, but with this topic? And it will instantaneously just recreate the exact same carousel, but with a new topic. And that's like a hack which will save you numerous amounts of time. Unless you have, if you've not got a graphic designer to create that for you, it will save you massive amounts of time. And it's a known concept in the world.
I just don't do carousel. They take me about 4 hours when I sit there.
You shouldn't take, even like, I make kind of shitty ones on my phone using, like I literally go on stories and I'll write the text and like click save and then use them like that and they do really well. It's like, it doesn't have to be like super polished and over the top sometimes.
In terms of like putting the words over, because obviously I do it all in Canva, I think that's what takes...
Just do it in Instagram. I do mine in Instagram stories.
Oh, okay.
So I do it in Instagram stories, click download,
Yeah.
and then I'll just like screenshot and just use that.
Because Joe is fit.
Yeah.
He's doing so well on carousels.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how people have the time, but maybe I...
Yeah, if you just do it in Instagram stories and just do download and screenshot it, and then I also get the ChatGPT to write me the copy for the carousels. Yeah. So, like for example, a good way to do this if you don't have for ideas would be upload all your sales scripts into AI, ask it the 10 biggest pain points of your clients. Okay, cool, give me 10 ideas for carousel posts that are 6 to 7 slides that could work for this, and then just look through which ones you think will be cool and could work. And then if you have CTAs on the back end for like a lead magnet or whatever it is, it works really, really well.
Yeah, I've just turned transcripts on in my Zoom.
Okay. The second thing on the carousel things I would definitely do is I would start removing reels from your main feed as like being previewed, and then have lots of like carousels and like stuff at the top that people can comment on, which is linked to Go High Level or ManyChat, because new people who come onto your profile will see the carousel click, and you can kind of like bait people in, if that makes sense. That does well.
So hide reels?
Yeah, you don't have to have them all in your profile feed. I would just have the most valuable 8 kind of things you want at the top for people to see, and then pull the other stuff off.
So the reels are literally just getting pushed out to wherever they are?
Yeah, they'll go in the algorithm and people see them. Or people can go to reels and watch them if they want. But people don't.
In regards to ideas, the best concept is that remix already used content. So for instance, if you've got content that's done well before, and you say, for instance, that's a talking heads reel that you've done, it's specifically that topic, and it's got you more views or engagement than other posts. Take that for the carousel. Put it into ChatGPT and say, can you break this down into 10 like one-line sentences that I can use in carousel? Like I said, that Nano Banana, if you struggle with creative graphics, literally just take a picture of the graphic, put it in Nano Banana and say, recreate this with this text. You do it as text. ChatGPT does do it, but Nano Banana is not much, it's upgraded into the software.
What's that?
It's just a time stamp. And then one more thing in regards to creating content in general is there's a method, the BENS method. BENS basically stands for big, easy, new, safe / simple. So anytime if you actually Google the BENS method, BENS content method, take the description of what that is, put that into ChatGPT, and then say any real moving forwards, I want you to use this method moving forward. So the big is basically it needs to sound big, it needs to sound bold in your face, which will tend to be the hook. The easy means you need to take whatever concept you're talking about, so if it's blood work, and dumb it down as easy as possible. And then whatever concept it is you're talking about, it needs to sound new. It needs to sound like nobody else has heard that before. And then the safe and simple is what it is. It needs to sound simple to do and implement, and safe enough so people feel that they can do it.
We did an ad that's gone out, and it's done very well, and all we basically put in the front of it was new. because it's like, it sounds like it's new and exciting. It was like new AI automated something. Any other questions we'll finish up? Cool. All good? Helpful? Awesome. All right. Big thank you. We'll keep doing these. Are you anything else, Dino?
Not at the moment.
Okay. All right. Big thank you for everyone coming today. We've got our big event in November the 14th and 15th. If you haven't already got a ticket for that, then that will be savage in terms of like other events. A lot of you guys have been to some of the big ones. One of the guest speakers we have there, I think, is probably going to be the best guest speaker we've had. Jordan Lee, I think, will be sick. So